Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey Google, what day is it?
It is Wednesday, June 17th, 2020.
Who knows when you'll be watching this? But today is Wednesday, June 17th, 2020. My name is William Bryant Miles, but you can call me WBM. And this is Wake Up with WBM, even though it is like probably 7 o'clock where you are, if you're on the Eastern Daylight Time, or wherever you are in the world. I'm just saying, wake the fuck up. As you can see, I'm giving you all black tees. And I was saying, I'm growing my hair out, if you guys haven't noticed. And, I'm grateful that it's growing. I have no complaints. But, like, when I wear, I guess I need to talk about, like, different head tie options because it's like when I wear this do rag, those things stick out on the side, little sideburns. If a barbershop is open, maybe they fade that. I guess they call that a temp fade, a temple fade. But today I'm gonna give you a little radical rebel realness, a little punk rock and roll. I gotta be honest with y'all, I don't really know what the fuck I'm gonna talk about today. I got some topics on the list, but I just don't really feel like it. It was a sunny day earlier in New York City, here in Brooklyn, where the studios are. But then the temperature's actually been really cool, and I mean that in a good way. It's been like 70s, very breezy. You could wear, just you don't need any kind of jacket. And it was really sunny today, and I didn't even get a chance to go out on the patio. I had a lot of calls, a lot of conversations, some work to do, and then all of a sudden the clouds just moved, and now it's like cloudy boots, which means this lighting actually is working well. I think I look good. You can't see all of the blemishes on my skin that we're going to cover up, but it just has my mood a little flat. Like, what did the Carpenters say? Hanging around, nothing to do but frown. Rainy days, Mondays always get me down. Today is not a Monday or a rainy day, but we'll say hanging around. Nothing to do but go on Instagram Live. Cloudy days, Wednesdays. I don't feel I can thrive. Anyway, still got the wrong ass makeup colors. Oh! Oh my god. Did it get in my cocktail? This is so inappropriate. This time I know God is real because that foundation shot like, you know, like it was having a good time. Like it was very turned on. But thankfully it did not end up over here. It just ended up, I mean, it didn't get in my glass. It just went right past it onto the mirror. The mirror has a facial. We'll deal with that later. So first things first, what I wanted to talk about was Juneteenth is coming up. It's on Friday. It's June 19th. And I can't remember which year. I'm a bad black, I guess. And I gotta be honest that like growing up, we didn't really celebrate Juneteenth. And I think part of that was because I was born and raised in the North. And for those of you who don't know what Juneteenth is a celebration of the day that enslaved persons in Texas got the news that they were actually free and that they've been still hanging around these plantations for no goddamn reason. And so it was a celebration that, we were all indeed free. And growing up, I'm not going to lie to you, and I grew up in a very black household, and by very black, I mean that like I was raised to know a lot. Y'all rag on New York City public schools, but as for me in my house, we learned a lot in public schools. Like I learned about slavery. Um, I remember the most time we spent with it, or like one teacher we had in third grade, a sub, she spent like a lot of time on it, kind of like problematically so, because it was like, all right, girl, we need to know our history, but we need to know one plus one as well. You know what I mean? And that was in third grade. We knew one plus one then, but that was in third grade. But I learned about, the history of the enslaved people brought over from Africa from childhood. We learned about George Washington Carver, Langston Hughes, all of that stuff in elementary school. We learned about the whole fucking world and different countries and cultures, but we didn't talk about Juneteenth. But as an adult, we now do. And it's important, and there's a lot of interesting things. So I see a lot of companies are giving people the day off for Juneteenth, which I celebrate, and I'm excited about. But I noticed that, like, with Martin Luther King Day, right, which is a holiday, and that's an important holiday. Barack Obama, I might be in a minority on this opinion, but like, and I only recently came to this a conclusion, but like Barack Obama made it so that Martin Luther King Day was like a national day of service, And I think that that's well and good because I think that like you can never like the fucked up situation or the fucked up condition I should say of this world. There's really no such thing as doing too much service. Like you just can't. You really can't. Like the work is never done. So I'm not mad at people being called on to do service. But what I am a little frustrated by, and I hope that this doesn't happen with Juneteenth, is that like when do black folk get a chance to rest? Like we got to carry the weight of the damn world on our shoulders. We have to have conversations on a daily basis that other communities, I guess now, the last 3 weeks have been having. But it's like, when do we get our fucking hot dogs and hamburgers? You know what I mean? That we can have guilt free. And so, like, I have an October birthday. My birthday is the 8th of October for all of you wondering. And as such, quite often my birthday is on Columbus Day, air quotes, because not, I don't think it should be called that, but it's on Columbus Day weekend. I would love for that holiday to be renamed Indigenous Peoples Day, so again, I could enjoy it guilt free. And also, a lot of y'all don't even actually get off on that day if you don't work for like the government or a bank. So I'm struggling with this stuff today. But so yeah, that to me, I'm just like, I hope that people don't start being like, it's not a day off, like Juneteenth is a day for. It's like, no, Juneteenth for us. I mean, we can have like celebrations that make sure it shares the history. But I would love for us to just be able to have a day where we get to just straight up enjoy ourselves and relax, right? Like, and I think that like the white people should not get Juneteenth off. I said what I said. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Don't at me. But that's way too strong. This whole episode is about to be a catastrophe with a K, and two E's at the end. Has anybody ever named their daughter Catastrophe? That would be kind of fun. Like if you had an unplanned pregnancy and you just wanted to make sure that she knew her origin, or even her son, you can name her or him or them Catastrophe. I think I kind of like that. Like if I had a baby, I would definitely name it Catastrophe because that's the only way it could have gotten here. And it being here is a catastrophe. Which brings me to my next point. Insecure. If you have not seen the latest episode, I guess this is the spoiler alert. It's the season finale, the 4th season of Insecure on HBO. Went out, some people would say with a bang, some people wouldn't. So basically, if you weren't watching, what happened is Issa and Lawrence are on Issa and Lawrence. Nice drag name, yes. And someone said, "I see you like my plan." This is my plan. Issa and Lawrence, they will they, won't they? I guess that's the whole fucking series. And so they're actually at a point now where it's looking like they will. And so they I don't want to use that word there. They are gonna work it out, and Lawrence gets a job in San Francisco, and it's his dream job, and he has a team. Well, it's not his dream job. I guess the whole. And did I miss something? Because I know that like the app had some issues that he was working on or whatever. But did we debrief like why he just decided to shift from being an entrepreneur to a worker bee? Full disclosure, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a worker bee. Like I have no issue with him doing that. I was just wondering if it was actually explored. I can't remember. And what I also had to check myself about was that like that last season was so fucking long ago that I just don't really remember half the shit that happened. But one thing that did happen that I'm clear about was that Lawrence found out that Condola was pregnant. And he asked if it was his baby. And I saw some people online getting mad that he asked that. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong. Like, I think that they were in a casual relationship, or I won't say casual, but it was like non-exclusive, I don't think. But then some people said that they thought it was exclusive. They said they thought that they were in an exclusive relationship and that for him to ask her that was inappropriate. And I don't agree. I was just wondering if y'all had thoughts about it. So, who is B. Simone? Oh, I don't have no foundation. Look at me talking about something, blah, blah. I don't have no foundation. So that was my thing about it. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Part of me wonders if she really is pregnant, but I just think that, like, she's too old. Like, I saw that on some other people's things. They were saying, I wonder if she's really pregnant. But I just feel like they're too old to be playing those games. You know what I mean? Like, if there ain't no baby, sis, what is you doing? Like, you are too old to be out here just lying. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all want to say that she trapped him, then I feel like we can maybe have that conversation. I don't agree, but I feel like that conversation can be had. But the conversation about like if she's really pregnant, I think it's a non-starter. Like obviously she's pregnant, right? I hope. And then somebody was trying to do the math on it, and I didn't have time for that. But my thing with it is like Lawrence and Issa, I just think that I know I have this person, and I could name them right now. They might even be watching somewhere out there in the world. We're still friends. I still care deeply for them. I think that they are a good person. I think that they would be a really good partner. But for whatever reason, we can never be in sync. When I'm ready to explore this, and when I'm ready to get over my bullshit, they just are not there. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, either they seeing someone else at the time, or they just are in a different headspace, and vice versa. When they are ready to explore it, I'm working through my own things, and I had to come to the conclusion that that is just not my person, if for no other reason, because we can't get in sync, and you cannot have a relationship where y'all are not moving in sync. And you know what song for me, because I love songs, right? Like, and the song that I most associate with this person now, actually, believe it or not, is "I Will Always Love You" by Dolly Parton, originally more famously by Whitney Houston. And for me, it's like if you really listen to those lyrics, that is what I think that Issa and Lawrence need to be saying to each other. That like, um, if I should stay, I'll only be in your way. Wait, let me pull up the lyrics while y'all doing that. If I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I'll go, but I know that I'll think of you every step of the way. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, and I wish you joy and happiness. But above all this, I wish you love. I'll always love you, but we just, that was incorrect. We are just not a match. You know what I mean? And you just have to accept that, make that peace. I see now why the girls do the contour last, because it gets everywhere and you look crazy. Got it. Learning. Um, you just have to make that peace that this is not your person. And so for me personally, I'm just very much over the Lawrence and Issa love story, because I just think that like they're not in step. And I think that Issa and what I liked about Lawrence and Condola, and what I liked about Issa and Nathan, is that I feel like those two couples are very much in sync with where the other person is trending towards. Like, I just can't see Issa right now at this point in her life as like the first lady to somebody who's living up in Mountain View or Silicon Valley or wherever, whatever he's working on. Like, we're going to do a little fake cut crease today. I just don't see that for her. I think that Issa really is coming into her own. And I actually think that's a part of the issues that she and Molly are having, because she's realizing that, like, their friendship, who they're becoming as women are very different people. And I think that friends can be different, especially friends that have that history that they have. They don't have to necessarily grow in the same way, but it doesn't seem like they're able to keep in step and in communication with each other. And so I think that that is a challenge that they have to, that's what they're trying to overcome. I think that Molly and Issa, because they're friends, they could overcome it should they decide. And you know what I mean? But I think that like Lawrence and Issa need to just tap out. I gave up on the cut crease that quick. Personally. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what I gotta say about that. Carmat Play said, I was so hyped when they got back together, but it should be curtains now. And I felt like what I thought was gonna happen was that they were just gonna have this like one last hurrah, and that, we could have one night together. Kind of like, another movie I love, Waiting to Exhale. This is not what I intended to do. Waiting to Exhale, is like the Wesley Snipes, Angela Bassett scene where they have that moment together, that night together, and it's very beautiful. But it's also final, which is not in the book. But in the movie, it's clear. He's like, I'm not leaving my wife. You not really in a place to be with nobody. But let's just go ahead and be a clown like me. Let's just go ahead and focus on, not focus on, but let's just have this one night. And it is what it is. This is what you do when something like this happens. She CY says, I was so excited for them and now I'm over it. I am not interested in Issa trying to figure out how to keep it going with Lawrence while he has a baby with Condola. So this is what you do with what happened. And this, like, what I'm doing right now is kind of what Issa needs to do to Lawrence, right? Like, she needs to just wipe it off her face and start the fuck over. Because I just think it's dead in the water. And I think that, like, if for nothing else, the reason why it also is dead in the water for me, like, she is not Gabrielle Union. He is not Dwayne Wade. Money don't solve all problems, but it sure the fuck helps. And I just think that, especially as a first-time father, your that life transition you go into is not like he's gonna be managing too many transitions. Either he's taking a new job or he's not, and he's managing the fact that he did not take the job that he, really was excited about, or he needs to accept that. I mean, so that's one transition, the job situation. Then he's becoming a father. So whatever that's going to look like, even if him and Condola are both very clear about the fact that they are not going to be in a relationship and everybody on board, everybody involved is on board, that is still just like, to me, I wouldn't want to be dating no man that was about to become a dad, because he needs to be not a new relationship. If they were already in a good place, if they were already in a good foot, I think that would be a little different, because that would be the one transition, and maybe they could work through that together. Maybe even she could help him through that. You know what I mean? If they were like a solid couple, and for whatever, like, kind of like the Dwayne Wade thing where I don't know. For me, it's like, child, I can't do it. I don't have it in me. I don't even want kids of my own. So, I just don't have it in me. And I think that, like, there was something so sweet. Miranda Anderson said, "I'd be done, Nate the one." What I loved, I just thought there was something so sweet about her and Nate being in that dark back room, no sex intended, where they were talking about, his visions for that barbershop, that space in the barbershop. And I just felt like that was so much more in sync with, like, Issa's vision for the world, like, or for herself. Like, I just was like, oh, I can actually see how this is going to dovetail with the, what she's trying to create for herself and her career and all of that. And not saying that all couples have to work together, but it sure doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? And so, like, for me, that was just, I just don't understand. And I'm like, she put her foot in her mouth talking about, like, girl, you did not have to be so clear with, like, people be clear. You was being too clear. Like, I get why you wanted to tell him. I know what I'm going to do here. I get why you wanted to tell him, Nate, that you were, trying to make things work with Lawrence. But I felt like maybe, just maybe, you should have kept that to yourself a little bit longer. And I think that maybe, just maybe, you be able to go back to Nate. Because now I'm like, is Nate really going to tolerate that? Because I wouldn't want to be, I mean, like, we all know that, like, we filling in the gaps from somebody's previous love, but, like, that just seemed a little too, y'all watch me. I got a plan for today. Where Rihanna say, watch and learn. You know what I mean? It's like, just, I just think they're doing too much. And then as for Molly, Molly, what are we going to do with you? My Molly. So somebody brought it to my attention that I never saw it for Molly. And that's true. I have not enjoyed Molly for the whole series. And the reason why I didn't like Molly, I make no qualms about this, was that she reminds me, I know Molly's in real life. And there's a certain part of Molly that reminds me of some people, of friends of mine. This is not their only quality, but that, just almost, people that think that, like, because they have this one area of their life figured out, and hell, maybe I'm a fucking Molly, but have this one area of their life figured out, that they thus are, like, superior to everyone else. And because they have that thing figured out, they want everyone to accept all of their issues and are not willing to accept imperfection from anyone else. Because usually, and this is, I think, how the best relationships work, right? Like, the imperfections in the other person should come in places where you are perfect, so to speak, that you have figured out, and that way y'all can grow together. You know what I mean? I'm not good with money, but my partner's an economist. My partner is not good with feelings. I'm an artist. I don't have a fucking partner. I'm hypothesizing. You know what I mean? It's like that tends to work. But Molly is just like, I got these things figured out, so if you don't have these things figured out, you're trash. But then you need to accept literally every single imperfection about myself. And so for me, I just think that's a little corny, and I think it's a little whack. And then what I enjoyed, like what I was able to deal with earlier in the series was that like I think they did at least paint a full portrait. Y'all see what I did there? Do you see how that foundation color looks a little bit better than it normally does? It doesn't look as crusty dusty, as completely incorrect. Like I think I got that a little bit better together. But yeah, so you know what I mean? So like that's my issue with Molly is that like this season they we're not seeing her in any good light. Like all of her relationships are in distress. Her relationship with Andrew or her former relationship with Andrew is in distress. And to be quite honest, I don't need to see Andrew come back because I just think that like Molly don't deserve him. I think she needs to explore being by her goddamn self again. I was kind of hoping that she would turn up pregnant with Dro's baby, but I also don't know the passage of time on the show, right? Like, so I don't know. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't know, but I get confused about the passage of time, so I don't know where we are in space. Hit that left temple. Do you mean on your left or my left? We'll just hit them both. And I'm giving you a nice line of demarcation, so let's just bring it down to do something different. I also didn't shave, so we trying to make it through. You know what I mean? Like that's my issue with Molly, and I feel like that is a writer thing. Another writer thing that I don't understand is like, what is the relationship of the homegirls, right? Like, are they a girl group? Are they a crew of friends? Or are they two pairs of friends that sometimes come together? Because I feel like I wanted to see more. It's like either I need to see more of these women or less. And this whole first half of this last episode was focused on Tiffany, the search for Tiffany or whatever. And I was like, damn, we kind of forgotten about her. And it's like an easy way. I get that they're not the main characters. This isn't Sex and the City. It's not about the foursome. But like, I thought it would have been interesting to see what the other women's perspective was on the Molly and Issa drama, right? Because that I think is a very natural thing to do. If y'all have a group of friends, you have an issue with one friend, you call the other friend to talk about it. Sometimes it's to talk shit, sometimes it's to vent. And it's partly because a friend who knows both of you, a good friend, can help with perspective because they can be like, oh, Molly gonna Molly, I don't know why you're upset because Molly always Molly's. Or like Molly was wrong, but this is how we are going to get through it. And I think that you should talk to them or something. Or, and if they get messy, sometimes they be like, let me call Molly on throughway and fix it. But it just would have offered a little more perspective because I felt like in some ways it was like this season was a little, it wasn't thin, but I just felt like they were glossing over stuff they could have sat with. Carmen Place said Molly has no redeeming qualities, which is a problem. At this point, that's correct. And so, like, that was, you know what I mean? That was, like, one of my frustrations with the season was that, like, I wanted to see more of that. And I also am like, my girl Kelly, Natasha, that's her name, right? Natasha. I think she's doing really, really great work as an actor, right? And so now I want us to push it further. I want us to see her really get in there and be a whole person. So I want to see like where, because I'm like, I like, I can be considered as like, a goofball, not a goofball, but like the funny one. But I'm a person. We have feelings and there are things that hurt our feelings. There are places in which we can actually be really serious and insightful. Just there are people who are really serious who also have moments where they can be really funny. And I just don't think that they're showing us the full range of old girl Kelly. And there were some specific moments I thought about where they could have done that perhaps. And so that was a little frustrating to me that they didn't explore that. But I'm pretty sure they'll be renewed, especially quarantine helped them a lot. And did they dodge a bullet with that? Because clearly they shot this before quarantine happened. But can you imagine if on that scene with the police officer, if they would have made a different choice to like make it like a police moment, what that would have meant? You know what I mean? Like that would have just resounded so differently based on everything that happened in the world. So I was like, whew, I'm glad that we don't have to live in this super crazy world where, I mean, we not crazy world, but I was just glad that they dodged that bullet. Yes, that postpartum storyline could have been done better. Lots of missed opportunities to actually say something. And then, yeah, the postpartum, I also felt like if we're going to talk about postpartum, can we talk about it? Like just having her be on the loose and then just finding her and being like, I'm sorry. I just felt like that was a little one. That was a little thin. It was just a little like, okay, you know, like, I don't know. It was like they knocked on the door, but they didn't walk inside. Pun intended, because they knocked on the door, but they didn't go inside. Um, you know what I mean? Like that for me was just very like flat. But it is what it is. Thank you to Insecure. This other thing I've been watching, and I don't know how I got caught back up in this mess. I used to watch it when it first premiered, was Drag Race. And I left Drag Race alone. The irony that I'm here doing whatever the fuck this is. The reason why I left Drag Race alone was because it got a little homogenous for me, right? And so I'm not a drag queen by trade or hobby, but I did get raised by them, right? Like a lot of my time in DC was spent in drag clubs, gay clubs, but also drag clubs and on the drag scene. And I have done drag in a club and got some coins. But you know, that's not what I do for a living. But I enjoy the art. But then I just felt like what I also enjoyed when I would go to drag shows and stuff was like the range, right? And it was, you know, and I also like I was raised in a specific older school, admittedly, style of drag. And then, you know, there's the RuPaul style, which is, so the older school style of drag was much more rooted in performance. And uh, you knew that they were drag. Like, you know, it's not these illusions that are like unclockable. It was just like about the show and, you know, being a little kitschy at times. But then this new school drag, right, is very much about like unclockable beats, $10,000 gowns, which I enjoy that as well. But I just hate that like that is like it seems like it's the only rubric. You know what I mean? And I was like, I guess that's what fucking happens though when you have like, you know, this happens. The same thing happened with Top Model, where you have people. You know, when the show first started, it was new and it was novel, and everybody that was on the show was trying to people who were probably trying to get on in the modeling industry already and have been trying other things, and this was an opportunity. And then the next thing you know, you have this show that comes along, but then now you get 10 seasons in, and you got a girl who the show came out when she was 8 years old, and so her whole life she hasn't not only been trying to be a model, she's been trying to be on America's Next Top Model. So the kind of model she is like explicitly rooted in, you know, what Tyra said you're supposed to do. And Tyra, I'm not saying she's incorrect, but she's just one woman, right? And these people have like these very myopic perspectives. And so the same is true for Drag Race, that you have these people who were raised on Drag Race, and so they literally only know one kind of drag. Um, and it just all has started. My nose is so crooked today, but that's because there's a story coming with that. You know what I mean? They only know this one kind of drag. So this is, oh, child. Ooh, Chile. You know what I mean? So like that is kind of like my frustration with that show. But I was watching it and they did like Lip Sync for Your Legacy on there because it's All Stars. And so they danced to the Pointer Sisters. Did y'all know they danced a Neutron dance? But I just decided to do a deep dive. This nose is so wrong. But did y'all know that the song I'm So Excited was about sex? Am I the only person that knew that? Like, I just feel so stupid. I did not realize that. Like, all the way down to Jesse Spano and everybody, you know, I'm so excited. But it's like, tonight's the night we're gonna make it happen. Tonight we'll put all other things aside. To the bridge, I want to feel you, love you, wrap my arms around you. And I just never thought that that's what it was about. But it's about sex. Which I think is so funny. Not that it's about sex, but just that I had no idea. So, yeah, that's what I learned about Pointer Sisters. But the Drag Race, I'm just a little bored with it, but I also can't look away because I guess there's also not a whole lot more on TV. I saw that Spike Lee got a new movie on Netflix. Did y'all know that? Called The Five Bloods or something. Can we just say I really do enjoy Spike Lee as a filmmaker, but I hate like bringing the noise, bringing the funk, Da Brat, Da Baby, Da Five Bloods. Like I hate it. I hate it so much. And I know it's very like Zora Neale Hurston, um, trying to write, and by that I mean just trying to write the way we actually speak, because most of us, myself included, don't walk around saying like you know what I mean? But it's just like, Brian Kelly said the movie was great. I'm gonna watch it. It's definitely on my list. It's definitely and on the short list, like sooner rather than later. If you guys haven't been following along, I've been doing Black Gay and On Screen, a series, a month-long deep dive into depictions of African American, really Black American gay men on screen, characters in TV and film. And so that has taken up a lot of my time, both for like the writing, because you guys are really smart, so I can't say bullshit because you'll call me on it. And the way I want to, this is how I know I made it though. We got trolls now. There are actual trolls who are coming and commenting bullshit, which I just love. I love a troll. I've been a troll for shits and giggles, but I've been a troll. And so I love that people are there talking bullshit. What I think is so funny with the trolls is like, there's this one lady, I wish I wrote down her screen name to name check her. Thank you, because she's given me a lot of engagement. But like, she was like, I'm unfollowing. I don't want to see Black gay people. And I'm like, first, she's Black, right? I don't know if she's gay or not, but she's Black. But I'm like, Henny, you don't want to see Black gay people. Why are you on my page, which has a literal Black gay intersection flag on the page? It's Black, like that's what I do. I'm is Black gay. He is me, and I is we. So I just appreciated that. Is it true that the Noah are coming back for a union? Yes, it is true. I can confirm as if I'm in it. I'm not in any way affiliated with the project. But Patrick Ian Polk confirmed, Deadline confirmed that I think it's July 5th, but it's in July, early July. There's going to be a reunion episode that's going to stream live on Patrick Ian Polk's platforms, where they're going to bring back the characters from Noah's Ark in the current reality. Now, I'm curious to see how that's going to work, because they're filming it now, and just, so much is happening in the world. And I wonder, I don't think that Noah and Wade made it, so part of me is kind of sad about this, because I just love the idea of them, but I just think that there's so many challenges to them actually working in real life. So I don't know if they're still together. You know what I mean? Like, I think the only people that probably are still together are Eddie and Chance. I would be surprised if Alex and Trey are still together, but we'll see. Because I didn't realize this, but it's been like 10 years, 12 years since that show, since the movie. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really long time, and for these people. And in gay years, woo, child. Like, did they make it to their 10th wedding anniversary? I don't know. I'm about to show y'all something real scary. Woo! Oh my gosh. We'll fix that. I guess I didn't blend it as much as I thought. But I'm giving y'all a little rock and roll chic today. Damn it, I don't have a good comb, but we'll work it out. We're just going to take those off. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, Noah's Ark is coming back. This is all going to go somewhere, I promise. This is giving me very Whitney Houston, I think. If I should say... and then the other thing I want to talk about, I love tennis. And so tennis is coming back. They promoted that the USTA announced that they got clearance from the city of New York to have a US Open. It's going to be on the same dates it was always supposed to be, which is like, don't you just love how this just shakes out? The same dates, late August into the, past through Labor Day weekend. But there are not going to be any fans. And I have to be honest, I'm curious to see how that's going to work. I know this piece right here. I see it, y'all. I think I can't see it, but I see it. I'm curious to see how that's going to, and I'm using a pic. This is real ghetto. I'm curious to see how that's going to work, because I'm going to watch as well. I just saw Brian Kelly say he's going to watch Noah's Ark. I'm going to watch as well. Y'all see I'm struggling right now because I don't have a comb. And I have this rat tail comb, but this hair is too... Oh, maybe it'll work. I'm just curious to see how sporting events are going to work without an audience. And I think what's really interesting to me, right, is that like these organizations are trying to figure out how they can make this money, which I I get it intellectually because this business structure that y'all have created, which is complete bullshit, but you know that y'all created requires money to come in, and y'all have paid, you know, ESPN has paid y'all all this money so you can air it, and somebody's gonna want to sit home and watch something. But what I don't like about it, so basically what they're saying is like there's gonna be no fans. You know what I mean? Like the tennis players are just gonna come and play. They limited none of, like there's no qualifying tournament if you don't follow sports. A qualifying tournament, uh, basically in any tournament they allow based on your ranking in the sport, you're given automatic entry. You know, and then for so like the top, let's make up numbers. The top 50 people in the world automatically would be given entry into the tournament, and then they'll leave open another 20 spots from a tournament before for people who are ranked much lower, so that maybe a person who has a really low ranking but is having a good moment is given the ability to get into this tournament and play the U.S. Open. They're getting rid of the qualifying tournament, so it's only going to be those people who are ranked in the top 128. That you know, or the top 128 eligible players who choose to come. And what I don't like about it is like so much money is made from that tournament, sure, but there are also so many people who like the ticket takers, the concession workers, the ball. Well, I think they're going to have line judges, and ball people. But like all these lower ranked players, excuse me, the lower ranked players who aren't going to have access is like it really still just feels to me like the rich getting rich, the fat getting fatter. You know what I'm saying? And not, I haven't seen the players say this. You know what I mean? Like they're responding to what was given to them, but or presented to them by the powers that be. But it just to me is a little disappointing that like they're like so concerned like the tennis must go on, and it's like everybody that's going to be participating in this U.S. Open was going to be fine regardless. You know what I mean? Like these people have not they. I'm not saying they haven't been affected, but these people, as far as I understand, have not been displaced or like had their whole lives upended. And so I think that like just prioritizing that is just kind of to me a little whatever. Like one of the players, Nick Kyrgios, who's known for being counter culture, he said that like he you know feels like it's a little short sighted when people are out here homeless, hungry, and otherwise struggling, you know, on the brink of death. I need someone with an H. Homeless, hungry, and hospitalized. They it's a little short-sighted to be like, oh, we found a way to play tennis, you know, and then the U.S. Open people, this actually, can we take a moment for this hair, though? Because I do think that, like, with a little more work, she could be really, like, it's giving me newscaster. Hi, my name is William Bright Miles, coming at you live from Brooklyn, New York. I sound like Yolanda Vega, but, yeah, and then Memphis is like, I don't even want to watch it if we can't go. And I'm just trying to imagine, like, if you haven't been in Arthur Ashe Stadium before, it is the largest tennis arena in the world. It holds like 18,000 people or something crazy. So I'm trying to imagine, like, what does that sound like when it's empty? You know what I mean? And I've seen videos of practice and stuff. With practice, they're playing at a different level. They're not playing as intensely. Their work, it's going to be really interesting and really weird. And now I'm looking like, matchmaker, make me a match. But I just don't understand. I mean, I'm not because I don't understand. I'm not as interested as I could be in it. I will probably watch. I'm not going to lie. I'm curious. I also wonder, like, does that mean that, like, whoever wins these tournaments, is there going to be an asterisk? You know what I mean? Like, oh, girl, she won the 2020 U.S. Open, but, you know, that wasn't a real Open. You know what I'm saying? It just makes me wonder, like, what does that... I didn't even draw my brows on today. I'm giving you a real basic Banji beat. You know what I mean? Like, I just wonder what that's going to look like. But we'll see how that all shakes out, actually. So that's what I had on the U.S. Open. Y'all probably don't care. Y'all only watch tennis when Serena's playing, which I don't have a problem with. Y'all, I'm so dumb. I didn't know that when you wet it, it grows. Because I was like, I thought they were the same size, but it, like, grows when you wet it. Look at that. That makes so much sense. Wow. How do we feel about this? I think I'm giving rock and roll. We're going to get a little bangle. We're going to, you know, I'm so excited. and I just can't hide it. I was gonna do a necklace, but I think it's a little too fishy. Like I think I'm giving Butch realness. Oh, but maybe if I don't do the, what do y'all think? Let me hear from y'all. Should I do the necklace or not? I kind of don't like it. I think it looks. I don't like it, but let me see what y'all say. Dress me up. Maybe we'll do a dress me up, and I'll show y'all my closet, and y'all tell me what to put on. I can become the person you want me to be. A real let's get ready with me. But yeah, so back to the postpartum thing. I just feel like the postpartum and on insecure. Like I have friends who've had some challenges with postpartum. I don't wish it on anybody. It's a very real thing. I understand all of that. But I just felt like insecure with both the postpartum and the bipolar. They, to me, they just kind of Kelly Rowland a lot of stuff. And what I mean by Kelly Rowland a lot of stuff, I am a fan of Kelly Rowland. We are friends. But I do think that sometimes she gets a little stuck in the middle where it's like, girl, go a little harder or stay a little more quiet. You know what I mean? Like you're not going full force. And so you just get stuck in the middle. And I think that like they got stuck in the middle with some things where it's like either give me more or give me less. It's like give me more Kelly or give me less. Give me more about this postpartum thing or give me less. And they got very after school. You giving the black Rep Michaels. They got very after school special with the like bipolar thing, and it's like I get that they don't want to get like, and this is one thing I'm worried about with the Noah's Ark thing. I saw that it was co-sponsored by Gilead, who makes Truvada and Descovy and a bunch of other drugs, but those are specifically, you know, marketed to the gay community as they are treatments for HIV and also prophylactics. I'm worried that there's going to be scenes where it's like, girl, you take your prep. Nah, girl, I'm not on Truvada no more. I use Descovy, available now. And it's like, I get that they don't want to seem like that about like bipolar disorder or any of these illnesses. But I also feel like if you're going to bring it up, we got to talk about it, especially because if we're going to say that our community doesn't have conversations about this, and we know that that's a thing, which I believe is true, you know, especially certain sections of our community, both age and education and, you know, other experiences, then I think that we need to have the conversation, and you have to, I think that like those writers are more than talented enough to be able to give us something that, you know, at least talks us through it. Hi, Sean Ellison, in a way that is like informative, you know, just so it doesn't feel so like discarded. Like I just, not discarded, but like glossed over. It's like y'all spent this whole episode looking for this girl, and then y'all found her, and it was like, okay, cool. And I saw it earlier. Someone was like, oh, that brow looks so much better. They were like, oh, they just did that so that we could, you know, see Molly and Issa together, which I maybe am not disagreeing with. And this is the other thing I was gonna say about Insecure that I didn't love, was that kind of like so much of where we ended is where we started. Like, well, why? I mean, like, we know why her and Molly don't fuck with each other, but we didn't get no real resolution on that or no real, you know, movement into a new phase of that relationship. And so that to me was a little disappointing. But, you know, what I love about this moment, and this is true of Queen and Slim, and what was the movie about Wine Uncorked, and so many other things, is that, like, we're in a place now where with black film, which I'm happy we are, like, just as with mainstream, aka white film and entertainment, where we don't have to love everything, right? And that the work is good enough that we can have a debate about it. And some people would be like, they love Insecure. Insecure for them is the best thing since sliced bread. Can we get a new thing? Because at this point, none of us knows what unsliced bread is like. But you know, it's like the best thing since DDR. And then some people don't love it. And it's like, let's have a conversation about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it holds up. I was thinking about these too. Oh, yeah. That's just giving me very, like, I'm geeky, I'm fashion. I didn't see what y'all said about the necklace or the glasses. The glasses to me actually kind of look stupid, but what do y'all say? Miranda said, and why do Molly and Issa only get together when they're having man troubles? Listen, because Molly and Issa's friendship is, and this is also a hard conversation that I think Dr. Rhonda was getting to. That's her name, right, Dr. Rhonda? Which is that, like, it's a historical friendship, right? So it's rooted in the fact that, like, they're friends because they've been friends. They're not friends because they always enjoy each other's company. that they see the world the same way, that they, it's like so PC over here, that they see each other the same way, or that they have similar world, not similar, but complementary worldviews, complementary aspirations. Like, I think that, like, they really are slipping into uh, um, a place. Damn, that got like so much less loud when I. It was like I could hear. I actually kind of like it behind the ear. You said yes to the necklace, so I'm gonna do silver. Silver and gold, I'd rather have Jesus. Another thing that I was dumb about, I thought they were saying I'd rather have cheap. They were saying I'd rather have Jesus. There we go. Sweet, beautiful, so saving joy. Oh, joy. Rock out with your cock out. So, that is my issue with the show overall. I mean, not the show. That's why Molly and Issa, I think, like, their friendship has kind of plateaued, because they just aren't. It's not rooted in anything except for just history at this point. It's not rooted in anything except for history. Like, and they haven't done the work to just make the peace with that, right? Because that's the other thing, when you have friends, to say you outgrow them, I think is really harsh language. That, like, my feelings would be hurt if someone told me they outgrew me. But I think that you sometimes, when you just are not in the same place. If you got 10 kids and you know what I mean, you got 10 kids in a blue collar job, where you're clocking in every day, and you're fine with that, and that brings you joy and whatever, and so you're big on going to soccer practices and all that stuff, and I have no kids and I'm a millionaire, then maybe our lives don't line up in the same way. But that doesn't mean that I still am not going to be there when your mama dies, or if you call me and you need me, I'll answer. But the expectation is not for me to call you to go to brunch on Saturday, because I know that you have some other shit going on that has nothing to do with me. And so how our friendship looks is different, right? And I think that it takes maturity to recognize that, and to not be in your own bag when the person, because I think a lot of this is rooted in the fact that Molly was in her bag, that she felt like she needed Issa. She never made it explicitly clear, and then Issa wasn't there for her. And so she was just like, well, then F you. You know what I mean? And it's like, ooh, I kind of like the glasses. I kind of like them. I got to change the charger. This is real ghetto. I'm going to just shake the table a little bit. Oop, there we go. You know what I mean? They, she didn't advocate for herself, as we've gone into length about, and so now they've just created a whole thing that is total Monet. You just have to lean back, and catch it from the side. So yeah, so this is the story. This is my story. This is my song praising my Savior all the day long. So get out of here, just in my shot. So that's my whole thing with Issa and Molly. They're gone for the season, and who knows with them, they might not be back till 2026. And it's like, and they'll just act like, yeah, Condolis, do any day now. Like, bitch, it's been 6 years, that child is in college. But what are we going to be watching next? Normally at this time, I'd be watching Claws, but production got shut down on that, so there's no new Claws episodes. I think now shit is getting real. Coronavirus! Because all of the stuff that was backlogged, they were just pushing it out. But, I feel like now I go to Netflix, I'm like, it's not a whole lot, except for the Five Bloods. There's not a whole lot that I want to see that I haven't seen on Netflix. All the shit that I want to see on Amazon Prime, they be trying to get you to add a channel for $2.99 or some shit. Not doing it, hated it. So I don't know, what are we going to watch? I might have to read a book. You know what I mean? And then I just also wanted to thank you all for engaging with, if you have been, thank you. If you haven't, I encourage you to engage with Black, Gay, and On Screen, which is my month-long deep dive into depictions of African-American, I already said this, Black, gay men on screen. It's been a learning experience for me, because a lot of these, if you can't tell, I'm actually doing the work to like research and know what the fuck I'm talking about. So a lot of these things I was drawing from like memory of like, oh, I remember watching that movie, and then I go rewatch it, or I go research, some of the published thoughts about it, and it frames it in a new context. And then, which I think is the most exciting part, all of you which surprisingly, a lot of you text me these messages privately. I don't mind. Send me DMs. I don't mind. But it'd be great if you share it because then everyone can weigh in on it. But you guys send me clips and you send me information that provides additional insight and perspectives that differ from my own, which I love, and offer more in-depth analysis, especially shows like The Wire, which I didn't watch. You know what I mean? So I'm only coming at it from a scholastic, if you will, perspective or scholarly perspective, or critical now. Like I can't offer personal critical analysis just yet. So that I appreciate. I have available still for sale. I have these pins. These are the lighting. There we go. They are available for sale. Slide in my DMs. You can get the pre-sale right now. They're $10 plus shipping and handling. And pre-sale, they're going to go up once they're fully launched on the website. And this celebrates the intersection of Black and gay identities. We are not a monolith. We are not new, but we are powerful. And we are supported. So I thank all of you who don't share that identity, but who stand with us. Black Lives Matter. Make sure you donate. I saw I've seen some people. One thing I can challenge you, or I suggest for you guys, if you can afford it, I've been seeing people do like challenges where they'll say, not the stupid challenge, like I challenge you to dump ice over your head, but they'll just be like, for the next 24 hours, all donations to insert charity of their choice will be matched. And I just think that's really exciting because if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of resources, that you only make a $10 donation on that day, your $10 is $20. You know what I mean? So I just encourage you, if you can be the challenger, to do so. If you see someone doing a challenge, remember that like $5 does matter, and especially if that $5 becomes $10, and to just really think about what causes matter to you. Some of us use our voice or our platform. Some of us use our pocketbook, and some of us use our fists and I don't mean to like punch people per se, but to show up. So I encourage you to figure out whatever it is that is your protest. We know that this shit ain't right, ain't been right for a really long time. White people seem to finally be catching on. I'm a little tired personally. But yeah, so that's what I got. This is such a depressing way to end. I'm just burning, doing a neutron dance. Wrong key. Well, no, a woohoo. Actually, it might be wrong key. And it's hard to find. So that's all I got. Again, I just want to encourage all of you. There's so much darkness and sadness in the world, always, especially now, that to choose joy. Black joy is resistance. Black joy, you know what I mean? Like the Black joy is resistance, but Black joy is also our lineage. That like we are a jubilant people. We have been jubilant for generations. We have for so long when things were inhumane and insurmountable, we found a song, literally. Rockin' my soul and blues a believer in. Rockin' my soul. That's all I got. I'm done. I ain't even had no show to begin with. So I thank y'all all for sitting here with the bullshit. I'm Brett Michaels. I wish I knew a heart song that I could sing for you guys. I don't at this time, but tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the only one. That's all I got. I was even going to sing a song to end this, but that's it. I'm done. I love you. Thank you. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m., we get to try again. Running out of wigs, so buy these pins. And I should tell you that sales, a portion of the proceeds will be donated to the LGBTQ fund, which gets Black people who've been incarcerated and LGBT people, some of whom are Black, who've been incarcerated unfairly, including protesters, helps to get them out of jail and get access to legal resources, because we know that shit ain't right. So that's what I got. Bye-bye. Oh, and I will always love you. I will always love you.